Okay, good morning everyone. So today will be the last section of the digital sculpting. After we finish this part, we can start to do the texture paint. So let's take a look. First things, I think for now the detail of my modeling is pretty nice. So the next things I'd like to do some fix about the model. Sometimes when we are working on the digital sculpting, probably we will accidentally leave some empty space or probably some void part on our 3D model. And for that kind of thing, it's not that good for your following process, such as digital painting or probably the retypology, that kind of thing. So we can use functions inside 3D Code to fix that kind of empty space. Let's choosing the skull model as example. Probably when we are working on this model, there are some holes, inner holes inside this model, but we cannot see. You can press 4 to turn your model into the wireframe mode so that probably you can see that, but it's still hard to check. So in this time, we can just right click and choosing fill void. And it will automatically check your model and help you to fill the empty space inside your model. So that's the way we can use for checking your models. So for this part, I will do that one by one, step by step, and fill all the empty holes. So you can see that if they have holes, it will automatically check in that for you and fill the holes. So probably also here, let's try to do that. You can fill. Okay. Okay, seems like on the face mask we have a lot of hole on that. Alright, so I guess somehow it's pretty much done. So the next day, I'd like to set up a base for our digital sculpture. For example, like a base on the bottom part, and also probably I want to make a container, a capsule-like container for contain the cyberpunk model, and maybe there inside the capsule there are a lot of pipeline connect to these cyberpunk skulls. So that would be my design, that would be my idea. Anyway, let's get started. So first things, well, since right now we have so many different layers, in order to save the size, we can somehow merge them together. For example, like the skin, the face skin and also the body skin, we can merge them together. Let's right click and choosing merge with. Let's choosing skin. Okay, so now they have been merged together. And for the rest part, it's pretty much up to you. You can choosing to merge probably the shoulder and also the what is this? I think this is empty. Okay, yeah, this is empty. Let's just delete that. Maybe you can somehow merge the chest and your shoulder, something like that. It's better to be separated so that in case if you want to bring the model back, if you still want to split them one more time, then you still have chance. If they are connected, then you don't have chance to re-separate them anymore. Alright, anyway, the shoulder is here and the chest is here, and okay, basically they are merged together. So if I merge them together, it will be very, very hard for me to bring them back. Alright, anyway, I will stay like this. Okay, for the arm, I guess we can somehow do the operation in the end. So let's turn off that. Okay, let's save. Now let's get started to do the base, the capsule container first. Let's create a new layer. Let's call this one container. Okay, and then we can just simply create, probably using this primitive to do that. I want to using this one. the capsule. Let's enlarge the model. Just like what we said before, if you are not so sure about where the model is, you can just choose it to center mouse and make sure it was located in the center. And also let's reset the size. You can do that in a manually way, or you can just simply using the number here to control that. Let's go to the side view, go to the right view, and rotate a little bit. I hope that this one can be a little bit declined. Okay, let's go to the right view. Let's double check front view. Okay, good. Once you finish, let's just choose in apply. Okay, so now we have. And if you still remember, basically the way we can make this one become a, let's say, a hollow object is that we can just simply copy one more and scale down this one. Okay, we can make this one be transparent and then scale down the second one. Sorry, let's delete. Let's copy one more, right? And then we can scale down. That's one way. Another way is that we can right click and choose extract shell, and you can choose in make shell mesh using voxel or secant using surface. The second one is for surface modeling. The first one is for voxel modeling. Both of them can work. So up to you. For this time, I will just simply using the quick way. Let's delete this one, and I want to use in the extract shell. We can actually make this one become surface first, and right click and choosing where is that? Extract shell. Alright. Secant. And here we can define the thickness, probably 0.1. Let's click OK. Alright, sorry for that. Let's redo that again. Let's choose this one, right click, and choose in secant. Alright, so I hope right now we have that. Let's turn this one into transparent, but still we cannot see that. It's okay. Let's turn this one to the voxel model again. Alright, so now we have. Let's cut off this one. Let's go to the right view. And for this time, I'd like using cut off tool. And using the polygon lasso to select. So probably something like this. Alright, so as far as I can see, right now this one has become a hollow model. Okay, so that's the things I want to have. And next thing is let's try to increase the thickness. So I want to use an extrude, probably 0.1, one more time. Okay, cool. So pretty much done. So the next thing is I think that for this capsule model, it can be a little bit irregular. So which means that it doesn't have to be very geometrical. It can be a little bit organic. So the things I'd like to do is to make this one probably a little bit looks like a cracking or maybe some dissolving effect. That's the things I want to do. So first things, let's turn off the model. Let's turn the rest part make them become the transparent mode. And also let's give the model some textures. I think we can try to give this one biscuit. Okay, this one. Click OK. Alright, let's go to the front view. So the things I'd like to do is cut off this one and probably also make this part become a little bit unsymmetry. So from now on, I'd like to turn off the symmetries. And let's still using the cut off tool. Make this one because it looks like a little bit broken. And also let's go to the side view, right view, there. Okay, something like this. And for that part, you can make this part probably a little bit broken. Okay, something like this. So for the back side, we can also do the same effect. Probably it doesn't have to be that regular at all. Okay, something like this. So this is just like a broken shells. The next thing is, if you remember, we can use stencil to create some effect. So for example, I want to use this one. This is one of my favorite, a little bit similar to probably Voronoi patterns. So anyway, let's press spacebar and call out the airbrush. I want to create a kind of organic effect on the border. Alright, sorry for the CC cleaner. It always show up. Alright, scale down the size, and then let's start to using the airbrush to create some effect on the border. Some patterns, nice pattern on the border. And you can hold on the shift key, you can hold on the control key to make this one be engraving. Okay, so also for the inner part, but for the inner part, it doesn't have to be that thick. So we can somehow decreasing the tips of the brush. Just lightly draw some detailed patterns on the inner side. Okay, so now we have the pattern. Probably some part is a little bit too strong, so we still can use in fill brush to fill such a deep crease on your surface models. Okay, cool. So that's it. That's about the shell of your model. The next thing I'd like to do is to make this part look like a little bit dissolving effect. Actually, we still have a lot of different type of brush that you can use. For example, we can try to use a move tool to somehow, let's say, not here. Let's choose a move tool. We can use a move tool to somehow deform the shape of the shells. Okay, probably make some wrapping effect, this kind of twisty and wrapping effect on that. And for the border, pretty much the same. Let's go to the right side. Okay, so make this one looks like dissolving or melting. Okay, so now we have. Next things we can try to do. Let me find out some interesting brush that we can try to use to create like kind of twisted and also probably looks like a little bit melting, dissolving effect. Where is that? Okay, pinch. Let's try this one. Okay. So for this, it will try make this position that you choose be a little bit probably merging and also twisted in the center. Anyway, let's try to create this kind of effect. Alright, cool. Alright, I think that's it. And what else? Okay, I think that's pretty much done. So for the rest of the part, we can somehow anyway try to fix some arrow, arrow part. So for example, like this part, this kind of little wheel arrow on the border, we can use in smooth or fill to solve this problem. Let's hold on Ctrl key and wipe out this kind of little arrow on the border. And for this part, we can also try to do that. Okay. Let's use in fill to fix this problem here. Also this part. This kind of little spike, that's the things we did by using the pinch. Okay, so I think that's pretty much done. So the next things I'd like to do, first things, I want to create some mechanical patterns on the shells, on the container. So let's try to create another new layers and let's quickly using the Greeble, the assets to do this kind of setting. So probably I'd like to create some kind of joint, the nozzles, the joint on the border. So anyway, let's choosing that. The nozzle, where is that? Probably this one. Alright. And if you cannot find that, just remember to choose in center, reset space, reset axis, to main axis, to center mass, and scale down, and you will see that. Okay, so this is the nozzle. So I'd like to put them on the center of this, probably on the side. So for now, I'm going to turn on the symmetries and rotate this one into 90 degrees. Actually, the nozzle doesn't look good. Probably let's change another one. Oh, maybe this one. Well, it has more layers, so it looks more detailed. Anyway, let's move this to side. Sorry, let's do it again. Let's move this to the side. And I hope that we have some inner nozzles. So, okay, sorry. Let's move that here. Basically, this is the interior space of the container. If you don't want to see the inner model, and we can temporarily turn off them. Okay, just put them on the side, probably just like this. And scale down a little bit. Once you finish, let's choosing apply. Let's choosing another material so that it will, we can know this is another different portions. Okay, probably here. Choosing apply. Okay, let's choose apply. Alright, apply. And maybe also the backside we need this kind of joint in order to create something more cyberpunk style details. I want to bring them to the center, so let's reset. Okay, and then reset the space. Reset the axis. For the space, we don't have to reset, but anyway. Let's create a bigger one. Apply. And let's create a smaller ones in the center. Apply. Okay, so now we have. Alright, I think it's pretty much done. So probably here, let's do that one more time. Apply. Apply. Okay, so that's it. So the next thing is for sure we can keep adding new things like maybe some kind of mechanical pattern or something. But probably from now on, I'd like to use in Spike to create that kind of pipe on the border, on the surface shells on the container. So anyway, let's get started. Let's choose in snake. Okay, and then let's go to the set, choosing the pipe, and let's start to connect them together. Yeah, that's the things I want to have. Just randomly connect them together. Yeah, it can be symmetry. Sorry, not here. This one. Okay, something like that. Pretty cool. Okay, and then let's try to using another one. I think this one is kind of rope, or this one is also nice. So let's try to use this. And probably we can somehow change the radius using your right mouse button, and you can drag. Then you can change the radius of the pipe. This one, cool. And if you don't want to use in symmetry anymore, just disable this one. Sorry for that. Let's turn off that so that I won't touch that anymore. It will be easier for me to do the operations. But I can't because I need this surface to do the drawing. A little bit annoying, but well, that's the problem of 3D code. Okay, so probably this one is pretty nice so far. Once again. Okay, so I will stop right here. So the next thing is we can somehow try to create some patterns, some organic patterns on the container part. I want to use in snake, but this time probably we don't need to use in. We still can use that. We can use in something like these kind of tentacles. It looks a little bit disgusting, probably like the Casola or something. But anyway, we can modify that later. I just want to use in this to create that kind of fiber textures, and finally change this one, make this one become something like muscle, or probably some organic material. Since this is a digital sculptures, so for sure we have to take care about all the different angles. Alright, so now we have. Okay, so next thing, let's quickly fill the gap. And then let's use an airbrush and go to find some nice brush to create the patterns. Okay, this kind of pattern, it looks good. And by the way, you don't have to make everything in 3D modeling. And after this class, we will start to do the texture pen. So we still can use in texture to fill some details. So you don't have to completely use in 3D modeling way to deal with the detail. Otherwise, your model will be super huge. So for now, I just quickly make the details on that, but I won't do that in everywhere. And probably you may ask, so which part we should use the 3D model and which part we should use the texture to deal with the detail? I would say like this kind of joint part, well, it's better for us to use in the 3D modeling because for texture, it has its own limitation. So it is impossible for us to make this one looks like the real 3D model. So if you want to, this one has a very realistic effect, just like a real 3D patterns, then probably for this part we should use the 3D modeling. But for the surface like this, actually we don't have to use in the 3D modeling, like this kind of things. Anyway, let's quickly do that. Okay, so I will stop right here. So this is the final one, and probably we can somehow let's call this one cyber patterns. Let's copy one more and substrate from the shells. The container. Okay. Then let's try to clean up some error area like this part. I like to use in the fill or smooth to clean up this kind of things. This way, you can see that when we are working on the subtract, or let's say the Boolean operation, this kind of border will look a little bit pixelated. That's because this kind of so intricate detail, it cannot be used in, it's hard, not cannot. It's hard for you to use the voxel to do that kind of detail because we have the limitation about the voxel, right? So if layer is too small, then we cannot use in the voxel to show that. Anyway, in that case, when we are working on the typologies, well, it will have some problem. Probably 3D Code or Blender will be hard to know. Okay, so what should I do using the wireframe to show that part? So usually I would just directly remove that or try to use in smooth tool to somehow wipe out of these kind of little patterns. Okay, let's just simply wipe out. Just using smooth, I think it will be faster. But too fast. Sorry. But okay. Okay, so I think it's pretty much done. So one last thing is just like what we did before. Please using the fill void to fill the holes. Also for the cyber patterns, fill void. Okay, now let's turn on everything and take a look about the result. Except the hand. For now, we don't need that. Alright, so this is the final one. So basically, it just looks like a character. It was lie in an egg or lie in a capsule, something like that. Let's go to the render view, take a look about the result. Alright, so far it looks pretty nice. Probably we can adjust a little bit about the position of the capsule. So probably choosing these two and you press spacebar and using the transform tools to move the model down. Okay, something like this. Move the model down. Alright. And one last thing. So I also want that we can have some pipe that connect to the models. So let's enlarge this one a little bit. Make sure that it can completely cover the 3D model. Alright, so we can just directly do the pipe on the cyber pattern. But if you are not so sure that the hand can completely control the position of the pipe, then let's just create a new layer. Then let's go to the curve tool. For this time, I'd like to use the curve tool. Let's clear all first. And then let's choose the pipe that I'd like to use, probably from here. Let's choose in this one. And then let's choose in the pipe. Okay, it's not a good way. Let's clear again. Go to the right view. And let's choose in the right type. Okay, doesn't look good. It's okay, we still can change that. So annoying. Let's remove all, okay? Let's do that one more time. Okay, so probably something like this. Right, so once you finish, let's choose in apply. So this is the first one. Let's assign some material for that. And also here, I think we can try to do another ones. Let's clear all. All right, sorry. Okay, cool. Just make the pipe looks like be inserted into the body center. Alright, I think I don't need this point, so let's delete. It will be easier for me to control the curvature of the model. Okay, let's choose in apply. Alright, I think that's all. For the bottom side, you can do one more, or you can just leave model like this. I will do one more because I think if we can have more detail on the button, it will look better. Again, let's choose in, let's choose in the pipe. For this one, let's enlarge that. And once you're finished, let's choose in apply. Okay, so pretty much done. Alright, I will leave the model like this. So again, let's go to the alright, I'm disable symmetry, that's right. Let's go to render view and take a look about the model. Okay, so now it looks pretty good, I would say. Just like the movie style, or like the Prometheus, the Alien movie. So pretty good. So one last thing. Let's go back to the sculpting mode. And yeah, I don't need the symmetry anymore. I want to disable symmetry. Yeah, do you want to apply the symmetry to the curve to be above? Yes, I wanted to. And I don't need the curve anymore. So let's clear up. So the next things I'd like to do. First things, we can try to merge them together. So let's choose in the pipe we just created. Let's choose in merge with, let's choose in cyber patterns, merge them together. And also let's choose in fill, just like what we did before. Let's fill the empty hole. And choose in save. So one last thing I'd like to do. Inside 3D, it seems like a little bit hard for you guys to change the pose of your model, right? So I would say, first thing I would save a file. Let's save the original pose of the model. And then let's save a new one. Because once you change the pose, you cannot bring that back anymore. Unlike that kind of rigging model inside Blender, we can use in the skeleton to adjust the pose of your model. But inside 3D, we cannot do that. But we still have the way to change the pose of your model. Alright, anyway, let's get started. So first things, depend on what kind of pose you want to use. For example, if you just want to roughly change the directions or the angle of your model, it's very easy. Let's just choosing all of them, choosing all of the layers, and let's choosing transform, and you can quickly rotate or probably quickly change the direction of the model. So for example, I want to change the skull, the eyes, the face mask, but sorry for that, because I merged the skin before, so right now I have to separate them again. I want to change the position of the head, so I have to remove the skin. It's okay, let's copy. Sorry, let's choosing the skin. Let's copy one more. Okay, let's copy one more. Let's call this one face. And for the skin part, let's just using the cutoff tool to delete the face part. Sorry. Let's turn off this symmetry, okay? Make sure you turn off the symmetry because the skin is not a symmetry one. Okay, so now for this layer, we only leave the skin. And for the face layer, I want to only leave the face skin. Just like this. Let's cut off that. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we have. So if I want to rotate the positions of the, let's turn on everything first. If I want to rotate the face, well, it's very easy. Let's choosing all of them. The skull, the face mask, and also probably the pipe as well. The pipe, and what else? Let me see. The face. Yes, the face, and also the eye. Okay, and then let's turn on the transform. I want to rotate a little bit about the face. Probably make this one decline on the left side. Show the side face of the model. And then let's rotate a little bit. Make this one going down. Something like this. Probably we can make them a little bit bigger so that the visual style will look better. Let's go to the side view, make sure it looks fine. Okay, so that's it. So that's about the head part. But how about the body? If I want to make the body bend it a little bit, how can we do that? Well, for that part, we have to use in the tools inside 3D for transform the model to change the pose of your model. So we can use this one, the pose or bend. Both of them can work. First things, we can somehow choosing the one you want to group. It will be very helpful for the following managers. So let's choosing the skull, the face mask, and also probably the pipe, the face, the eyes. Please help me to check that. Make sure I have select everything. Okay, also the pipe. Let's choosing group. Make them become the group. So let's call this one the head part. Okay. And for the container, let's choosing all of them and create a group. Let's call this one container. And let's rename this container show, something like that. Okay, cool. And for the bodies, let's select everything. Let's call this one body. Okay. Sorry, let's do that again. Let's call this one body. So now we have it. So now we can just directly select everything. Probably I accidentally moved them up. Let's undo that, okay? Okay, select everything and make a group. And let's call this one body. So now we have. Alright, so since right now we have the body layer, so we can actually choose in all of them or just directly select the layer, choosing to center mask, or you can choose in this, choosing to center mask, and then we can start to do the overall controlling of the models. So first things I think we can try to use in pose. For this one, basically it's a little bit similar to the skeleton tools inside Blender, but not that powerful at all, but fairly okay for you to adjust the pose. First things, let's turn the eraser part become transparent so that I won't touch them anymore. And I want this body can be bended a little bit. So if we just directly choosing everything, probably let's delete the arm. I think I won't need using that anymore. So let's just directly choosing. Sorry, I think I still want to leave. I still want to use probably one day. I'm not so sure. I will leave them here. All right. Anyway, let's choosing all of them. If we just directly using pose to do the overall change of your entire module, probably it will somehow be a little bit lagging, but anyway, we still can try that. Okay, it will lag. It will slow down your model. So probably, okay, I will do that one by one. First things, let's start with the skin. Let's turn off the rest part. Let's go to the right view. I want this one can be bended a little bit, so let's choosing the skin. Let's drag a line like this. Hold on your left mouse and you can drag. Okay, so now you can see that it transform your model become let's say a gradient color. So basically for the red part, it will completely change the pose affected by the pivot 100%. And for the yellow part, it will be only affected probably around 50% or 40%, something like that. So for the green part, it will be affected even more less. And for the empty area, it won't be affected anyway. So this is this is about the pose tools that we can use. Basically, you can just simply choosing the area you want to affect, and then using this one to change and deforming that, and it can create a very smooth effect. So that's about the things we can do. So let's redo that again, okay? Let's using randomly choosing any other any kind of other brush, and you can cancel the operation of the pose. And as far as you can see right here, you can edit the pose fall off, and you can selection the layer or click pick to the selection. So there are many different ways for selecting, and for sure we can choose in the smooth selections. And I'd like to from here to there, so which means the upper part will be affected more. All right. So, but actually I don't need to change the chest. I want to change the skin. Well, let's redo that. Okay, let's clear the selections first. And also here, let's clear the selection. I don't need that. I want to use in the skin. Okay, so now we have this. Let's rotate a little bit. It will be a little bit lagging, I would say, so not that easy to use, but well, still you can try to you can use this one to create the result you want. Okay, something like that. But you can find out, alright, so somehow it doesn't choose the whole model. Some empty area, sorry, not empty area, some independent patterns has been left on that part. So not that easy to use, but just get used to that. That's all the tools that we have so far. Okay, so now we have. And how about the chest? Well, for the chest part, I think we can just directly using rotation to do that because the bone should not be deformed. Let's clear the selections. Clear the selections. Okay, let's go to find the chest. Okay, so I will stop right here. So leave you guys to do the pose controlling by yourself. And I will show my finished one to you guys in the end of the video. Okay, so this is my finished one. Let's take a look. For the head part, basically it's very simple. Just choosing the group and using the transform tool to rotate all of them and put that to the right position. And meanwhile, I also changed the direction of the eyes. So you still just simply using transform tool and rotate the eye to the right position and it will be done. And the most complicated part will be the body because it contains so many different pieces. And with the restriction of the pose tools, we cannot transform them all at once. We have to transform that one by one. So it will be a little bit complicated, but let me tell you how I did that. The first thing is I rotate the, where is that? The skin part, okay? The first thing is about the skin part. So I using the pose tool to choosing, to change the position of the skin. Make the skin twisted. That's the first thing. And then we can just based on the skin, based on the rotation and the transformation of the skin, start to change the position of the chest. For the chest, we can just simply using transform because this is a hard and solid object. It's a skeleton, so it won't be moved that much. So we can just simply using transform tool, rotate this one to the right position. So for the shoulder and the muscle, because they are connected to the ribs and also the spine. And finally, it's about the spine. Basically, this one is pretty much same, just like the skin. We're still using the pose tool to rotate this one to the right position. So first thing is I bend in the overall body. Second thing, rotate this one a little bit. So you can see that right now the shoulder and also the spine doesn't face to the front view anymore. It was a little bit eccentric. So that will be the final one. So let's turn on everything. Let's turn on the container and also turn on the head. This is the final one. Let's go to the perspective view. And final part, I just add an arm. That's the things I left for quite a long time, but I didn't use that. So I just simply using the stencil, okay? Using a stencil like this. And also using the smooth tool to wipe out some area. So it will be done. It will look like this kind of, let's say, a little bit pixelmatic or a little bit dissolving effect. That's the final one. Alright, so let's take a look about the final result on the render mode. Alright, I think it looks pretty nice for the overall proportion and also the detail. So far, it looks pretty cool. So the last things we can do for this model, I would say we can try to apply some texture. If you remember, the shader right now we are using, they are just for preview. So if you do want to have some textures, some realistic texture, we have to go to using texture pen. That's the most powerful part of Citigo. So I will leave that part for the next class, and also it will be the final progress before our midterm. Alright, so that's all for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.